There have been so many great eras of professional wrestling in WWE, but the greatest of all time has to be the Ruthless Aggression era. And as a WWE fan, there were so many things that we could purchase, so many pieces of WWE merchandise, shirts, action figures, tickets, all great WWE products. And in this video, we're going to be going over some of the most iconic WWE fan purchases of the Ruthless Aggression era. If you haven't already, hit that bell down below, hit that subscribe button down below, stay up to date with all things from the Angle Podcast and myself, Joey Carney, right here on YouTube. Now, the first product I want to discuss is fitting because it's my first ever WWE t-shirt. Now, this t-shirt, obviously the Austin 316, the classic Austin 316 t-shirt, clearly doesn't fit me anymore. I must have gotten this back in 1998, 1999. Like I said, this is my first ever WWE t-shirt. At the time, Stone Cold Steve Austin, we're talking the Ruthless Aggression era. Stone Cold Steve Austin was the greatest thing since sliced bread. He was whooping the McMahon's family all around. He was whooping The Rock all around. He was whooping everybody because the Texas Rattlesnake was on top of the mountain in WWE. And so I figured this would be one of the most iconic purchases from the Ruthless Aggression era. Has to be a Stone Cold t-shirt. Really, any Stone Cold t-shirt would do. But the classic Austin 316 with the skull, there's nothing better than a classic retro Stone Cold Steve Austin tee. And during the Ruthless Aggression era, obviously I was a little kid, much like many of you. And what does every little kid who's a pro wrestling fan, specifically WWE fan, love? Action figures, of course. So here I have some of the first edition action figures of some of my favorite professional wrestlers in the Ruthless Aggression era, but also of all time. I have here a first edition, the first ever action figure from Rey Mysterio when he first debuted in WWE. As you can see here, some of the tattoos, clearly he's gotten so many more over the years. You have the iconic back tattoo of Rey Mysterio, but just the detail, I don't know, let me see if you can see it better here. I'll post better pictures. But you can just see the detail of Rey Mysterio. Even the side of his gear. It says Rey on this side. This was one of my favorite things I ever got when I was a kid in the Ruthless Aggression era. And there's so many action figures. I'll place them here so everybody can see it. But during the Ruthless Aggression era, there were so many action figures that were first time evers, just like this next one, which I think is my favorite action figure I've ever had. It's the first, and it's so funny. I remember being in Toys R Us. Yes, Toys R Us, Ruthless Aggression era, Toys R Us, all related. Going with my mom to Toys R Us and finding this one. I had been looking forever for this guy, for this action figure. I couldn't find it anywhere, and I remember looking in like the second row up of action figures, and I finally found it. And as a kid, finding your favorite WWE superstar action figure on a shelf, behind others when you're not really thinking you're gonna find it, but you're on the hunt, and then you find it, it's one of those feelings you can't describe. It's just it makes your day, it makes your world. And during the Ruthless Aggression era, when wrestling was at its peak, wrestling fans absolutely loved and believed in their favorites. And this guy, you cannot talk about the Ruthless Aggression era without this guy. This is the first edition, the first ever WWE action figure of Brock Lesnar. As you can see here, he has that mean mug on his face, but this was when Brock was kind of making that transition into the babyface role. You can see here the iconic tattoos on the back. This is when he was still wearing the trunks and the knee pads and the elbow pads. This is the classic Brock Lesnar. The first WWE Brock Lesnar action figure. We've seen so many over the years be created, but this one was the first. I believe this was 2002 when this came out. Same with the Rey Mysterio one. 2002, first edition Brock Lesnar action figure. Let me see if you get closer, and it'll kind of focus there. Let me see. Get closer. No, it's not going to focus. Okay. But you can see clearly it's the Beast incarnate. The next big thing at the time, Brock Lesnar. And again, I'll place him over here so you can kind of see more of them. But like I said, action figures for wrestling fans, specifically during the Ruthless Aggression era, they were iconic. They were just something else. And for so many superstars, they were finally getting their first ever action figure. Brock Lesnar's first WWE action figure, Rey Mysterio's first WWE action figure. I have so many others that I could pull out of the vault, but these two are my absolute favorite. I remember purchasing each of these. I remember taking them out of the box, what it sounded like, and just playing with them for the first time. Always doing the 619 with Rey Mysterio and having Brock Lesnar F5 every single action figure I had. So a second item, or two more, should I say, iconic items of the Ruthless Aggression era. Every WWE fan has to have some iconic WWE action figures. Now, continuing on the theme of Rey Mysterio, this next item, and it's two more items that go side by side, but staying on the theme of Rey Mysterio, an iconic WWE fan item should always be one of your favorite WWE show ticket stubs. So from here, you can see is my first ever WWE pay-per-view that I had ever been to. It was the Royal Rumble 2006. Rey Mysterio wins the Royal Rumble and goes on to headline WrestleMania. It was one of the greatest moments, I think, in WWE history. Here is the ticket stub. You can see clearly American Airlines Arena in Miami, Florida, January 29th, 2006. I got these for my birthday, and it was just, I was on the, you can see over here, I was on the floor. I sat on the floor. It was a big, big moment for me. And I even have the commemorative t-shirt that I remember getting there. Two of the main events, Edge versus John Cena for the WWE Championship. Spoiler alert, John Cena defeated Edge for that title after New Year's Revolution when Edge cashed in his Money in the Bank. Then we had the World Heavyweight Championship, Kurt Angle defending against Mark Henry. And on the back, you can clearly see all the other matches that were there. Boogeyman versus JBL, Mickey James versus Ashley Massaro, special guest referee Trish Stratus, and obviously the 2006 Royal Rumble where Rey Mysterio entered at number 2, I believe. Number 2, and won the entire thing. So far we have iconic t-shirts from WWE. We have iconic action figures from WWE, and now we have iconic tickets. And I would suggest going forward, if you don't already, any WWE, any wrestling fan, that when you attend a show, I would save the ticket stubs. I know everything is more virtual today, but if you can get a physical copy like this, even on a piece of paper, and just save it, man. I'm telling you, these, one day you're going to look back and you're going to remember where you were when you got this. You're going to remember the feeling of getting it, whether you got it as a gift or you spend your hard-earned money purchasing tickets like this. You're going to remember so many things that you don't even think you remember down the road. So again, WWE ticket stubs, tickets to events, a classic, iconic item WWE fans need to have. Now again, continuing the Rey Mysterio Royal Rumble 2006 theme, we have an item that has a weird feeling to it because it's not an item that we would want to buy to celebrate. Well, I guess to celebrate, but not to let me get to the point. Eddie Guerrero passed away in 2005, and after he passed, it was the first time for me specifically that a passing of a pro wrestler really got me. It was the first one I had ever really experienced. 2005, Eddie Guerrero passing away, and it was right before Survivor Series. He was supposed to be on Team SmackDown, and I remember that SmackDown after his passing. WWE did a tribute show, and everybody came out wearing these. It was the Eddie Guerrero armbands. We saw it most recently with the passing of Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. WWE superstars, again, Rey Mysterio, was wearing similar armbands for Bray Wyatt and Terry Funk. But this one has the Velcro. This was sold on WWE Shop. You can make it any size, adjustable. But WWE Shop had sold these at a certain point in time, right after Eddie Guerrero's passing. And I had to get the t-shirt. I had to get the armband. He was my favorite wrestler of all time. And yeah, I just felt like this was an iconic item. It's kind of hard to find these. I looked on eBay. I looked everywhere. You cannot find these anywhere. So if you were a fan like me back in 2005, purchasing this, like, chances are, like, you're never gonna find this again. And I was hoping that they would sell maybe a Bray Wyatt one or a Terry Funk one, and they haven't yet. So this is a prized possession, especially being an Eddie Guerrero fan, but specifically a WWE fan. Another iconic item that WWE fans should own is either a tribute piece of merchandise or something that relates to your favorite WWE superstar. Now, the last item I want to present to you from the Ruthless Aggression era, an iconic item that every wrestling fan at the time probably had, but today probably doesn't have. I still have them. But there was nothing better than every month getting a WWE magazine. Whether it was the Raw magazine or the SmackDown magazine, I have hundreds. I picked just a few here. I have hundreds. So let me start. I'll show you guys each one. But this one was from August 2005. It was right before SummerSlam, Shawn Michaels versus Hulk Hogan. One of Shawn Michaels' first ever heel runs in WWE. We have the SmackDown magazine with Batista when he was drafted to SmackDown as the World Heavyweight Champion. Again, SmackDown taking Batista, Raw getting the WWE Champion John Cena. Again, some classic, iconic WWE magazine covers. Yeah, SmackDown magazine again. John Cena, the champ, is here. Look at that championship. Look at that guy. Look at that guy. 20 years later, he's still doing his thing in WWE. Again, more Batista. I had every single one. Every month I had bought one. And whether it was a SmackDown or Raw, I think every month had a SmackDown and a Raw. This was going into WrestleMania 21. I'm kind of going backwards, as you can see here. Here, Evolution, the Raw magazine. Iconic picture. Iconic picture. SummerSlam. Randy Orton becomes the youngest World Heavyweight Champion in history, and Triple H is not having it. And for me, this is my favorite. I say this one for last. This is my favorite WWE magazine. And then, like I said, I have every single WWE magazine from roughly 2003 or 4 when they first started them, all the way up to when they combined the two, made the WWE magazine, and that was what, 2010, 2009? I have every single one, every month, boxes of them. This is my all-time favorite one because obviously it includes my favorite of all time, Eddie Guerrero, and someone that people don't want to talk about, deservingly so, Chris Benoit. But this was an iconic moment. WrestleMania 20, Eddie Guerrero retains the WWE Championship over Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit defeats Triple H and Shawn Michaels in the main event of WrestleMania 20 to become the World Heavyweight Champion in Madison Square Garden, most iconic arena in the world. And what a moment this was. As you can see here, it's still in great condition. All of my WWE magazines are still in great condition. And looking through this, this is hysterical. You can see some iconic poses from Michael Cole and Taz, Y2J, Chris Jericho, and Fozzy. Let's see if I can find anything else in this magazine that would be... Oh, wow, they have some... Let's see. Oh, look. We have Rey Mysterio and Dirty Dom. One of his first appearances in WWE. Dirty Dom, Dominic Mysterio. Let's see what else we got in this magazine. A lot about Rey Mysterio. We have, oh look, we can see what this was, what, 2004, May of 2004. So you can see here some of the classic WWE merchandise they were selling at the time. Some John Cena merch, obviously. Eddie Guerrero tees, Undertaker. See here, Brock Lesnar tees. Let's see what else they have. And I love the iconic logo too. The WWE Shop Zone. I love it. You gotta love nostalgia. Let's see what else they have here in this gem of a magazine. The Hall of Fame. I miss the days when WWE's they would release the magazines and they would put out WrestleMania 20 where it all begins again, and they would put out all of the results. Like look how they did this. The results of WrestleMania 20. Just the results, pictures. I mean, basically everything we get on WWE's website today. But still, I mean, this was iconic. Man, the memories that come back when you look at your old wrestling stuff. Yeah. So again, WWE magazines, an iconic picture for any WWE fan of the Ruthless Aggression era. So many iconic covers. Man, the emotions, the feelings, the nostalgia that comes back. I want to thank you all for tuning in, looking at some of the most iconic WWE Ruthless Aggression era fan must-haves. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below. Hit the bell. You can stay up to date whenever I post. I post shorts here every single day, Monday through Friday. You can always find new content here, whether it's interviews with the past, the present, the future of professional wrestling, whether it's wrestling WWE news, or just different things that I find fascinating about WWE and its history. This video in particular was one of my favorite to do because I love being able to travel back in time, down nostalgia lane, and find some of the most iconic items that I have, because as a wrestling fan, I have kept everything. I've been a fan since I was 3 years old, and I've literally kept everything. So comment down below if I should do another video like this, because I have so many iconic items, whether that be replica titles, whether that be spinner necklaces that I have, whether that be other, I guess, action figures and shirts and any memorabilia. I have autographed pictures of Eddie Guerrero, Chris Jericho. I mean, there is a plethora of items that I have. So comment down below if you think I should do a part 2 to this style video, and I will see you on the next one. And before you go, please subscribe to binge more content right here on the Angle Podcast. Thanks for watching.